Hello, welcome to Elizabeth Reads. We are on chapter 47 of Jemima Small versus the Universe. It is called Breaking Point. That afternoon, I was sitting exactly 83 meters above sea level. I know because it's the highest place in Clifton-on-Sea. It's called Cowrie Point. It's named after this famous pirate whose ship was wrecked here ages ago. Not many people come up because the steps on the side of the cliff are rickety. And because people say it's haunted. There's this howling noise, but it's not a ghost. It's just the sound the wind makes through the gaps in the rocks. I slammed the front door really hard when I left the house earlier, after Dad admitted he'd known where Mum was this entire time. I'd usually get in trouble for doing that, but today I didn't care. You can't get in trouble if you're not even speaking to your dad. Anyway, what Dad did was worse than slamming doors or borrowing binoculars or even smashing glass beakers. He smashed our hearts to pieces. And it's not like they have spare hearts in the science technician's cupboard. They do keep dead frogs in a jar though. Jasper was phoning me, but I didn't want to speak to him either. He was still speaking to Dad. Like the lie about Mum was a brilliant opportunity to suck up to him and make me look bad. I didn't care what Jasper thought. At least I knew exactly where Mum was now, living on a stupid luxury cruise ship, watching Uncle Alfie's stolen magic show instead of being our mom. Dad said she'd left him, not us, but that wasn't true. He just said it to make us feel better, but I still felt bad, so it didn't even work. The empty feeling in my heart hadn't gone away, like I thought it would if I found her. It had been there since this morning, and right now my heart felt so empty the wind could howl through it. Luna had held my hand for ages before I stormed out. She said she was sorry and kissed me on the head. I didn't say anything back because I wasn't speaking to her either. It was hard though because I wanted to. Dad had made her promise not to tell us about Mum and Alfie. It was more evidence of him being a tyrant dictator. That was a proven fact. I heard stones falling behind me. I peered over and saw the top of Jasper's bobble hat. "Hey!" he shouted into the wind. "Dad's been out looking for you." "I'm surprised he didn't just forget about me," I shouted, "and put my phone number in the back pocket of his rucksack. That's what he normally does." Jasper put it to the top of the steps, sat down, and looked out to sea. "He's sorry, Jemima. He did it to protect us." "Protect us from what? Having a mum?" "He didn't want to hurt us." The wind was making my tears run sideways. I tried to speak, but my chest was shuddering, like my body was breaking from the inside out. If I died, it would totally be Dad's fault. "It doesn't change anything, Jem. Mum's known where we are this whole time. We've not had birthday cards or a phone call, nothing." "Maybe cruise ships don't have a postal service," I said. Jasper moved closer and leaned his body against mine. Maybe. It was only a word, but it meant everything. Like for once, Jasper just let me be wrong. I watched him text Dad. "Found her at Cowrie Point on our way back." "I'm not going home," I said. "You have to, Jemima." Jasper stood up and held his hand out to me. "Otherwise you'll get hypothermia for real." "I'm going to phone Mum. Ask her if I can stay on the cruise ship with her." But even as I said it, I knew I wouldn't. She already had too many missed calls from me today, and the last time I tried it went straight to voicemail. I looked up at Jasper, and his eyes said the same thing my heart was telling me. If Mum had wanted us on that cruise ship, she would have taken us with her in the first place. "You've got to come home, Jem," Jasper said. "It's Brainiacs tomorrow, and I've bet Max Armstrong in my class 10 pounds that you'll win." I sniffed and rubbed my face, wiping off the salty trails where my tears had run. I took a deep breath of cold air and said, "I guess I can't stay up here forever," as the wind howled through the gaps in the rocks. "Not unless you like pirate ghosts," Jasper smiled, "and not when I've got my pocket money riding on you." I took a last look out to sea. Dad used to say we were lucky to live here because you can see right to the edge of the world. When I was younger, it used to feel like I was looking into infinity. I took another deep breath and followed Jasper down the steps. Jasper gave me a half hug in the porch before we went in. It was only with one arm, but a half hug from Jasper counted as progress in my family. Dad leapt up from the kitchen table as soon as we walked in. His dusty footprints were still on the carpet from earlier. "Jemima, I've been worried sick." He looked like he was telling the truth, but with his track record, I couldn't be sure. You must be freezing. Jasper, make her a hot chocolate, yeah? I sniffed and nodded. It wasn't exactly speaking to him, but it wasn't exactly not. Luna came over and hugged me. I knew Jasper would find you, she said. He has the gift. He has binoculars, I said. Luna squashed my face with her hands and kissed my forehead. That's more like it. Dad sat on the sofa and apologized for the millionth time. I didn't know where your mom had gone at first, he said. I knew she'd gone with Elfie, but I didn't know where they were. I emailed for a while with photos and stuff, but I never got a reply. And then, about 5 years ago, she sent that brochure saying they were leaving for good. I didn't want you to have to deal with it. I planned on telling you if she ever got back in touch or when you were old enough to understand, only that came sooner than I realized. I'm sorry. It's okay, Dad, Jasper said. It doesn't matter. It did matter to me, but Dad was wiping tears from his eyes, and right then, that mattered more. Seeing your dad upset feels like there's something wrong with the universe, like it's turned inside out, and you'll say anything to make it right again. Plus, he'd apologized 1,000,000+1 times now, and that was enough for one day. It's okay, Dad, I said. I get why you did it. I'm not mad at you. Because if you're not mad at the person who left you, what's the point in being mad at the person who didn't? Thanks, you two, Dad said. The skin around his eyes looked blotchy, and he rubbed his beard as he let out a few long breaths. Now, I've got something to show you. It's not quite finished, but it feels like a good time for you to take a look. Outside, Dad flung open the garage doors and said, "Ta-da!" The first thing I noticed was a TV on the wall, then a sofa, a table made out of wooden crates, bookshelves made from old ladders, and seats made out of giant tires. There was an old arcade game in the corner and beanbags, some paintings waiting to be hung up, and fairy lights hung across the ceiling like stars. I got a load of stuff from the junkyard outside town, Dad said. It's amazing what people throw away. Those seats are old tractor tires. I think I can get this arcade machine working once I've got the right parts. Dad, this is fantastique, Jasper said. I can do my filming in here. Dad laughed. I was hoping you might say that. And I thought we might hold a little party in here when it's finished. A party? Jasper and I said at exactly the same time. Yes. I'll have you know I did quite a lot of partying before you two came along. I thought we could have a special TV screening, say on Boxing Day. I don't know if there's anything on that evening you might like to watch. Jemima completely humiliating herself on TV, Jasper said. I grabbed a cushion from the nearest tractor tire chair and threw it at his head. I didn't miss because it's quite a big target. Not that that will happen, Jasper said. Right, Dad? Not with. They both flexed their arm muscles and said, Team Small. I closed my eyes, as tight as they would go. I wasn't cringing at how completely embarrassing they were. I wasn't wishing for anything either. I just wanted to make sure my brain fully remembered this moment because I felt like I was in one of those families you get on TV. A family that believes you can do stuff even if you're not really sure yourself. I wanted this moment to be branded on my brain, fused to my DNA forever. Later on that afternoon, Luna took me to Good Vibes, her friend Jupiter's crystal shop on the seafront. I examined an orangey red crystal from a cabinet by the door. It looked like solid fire. That one's for tranquility and healing, Jupiter said. It's called Jasper. I immediately put it down. It was so typical of Jasper to be named after a crystal. Is there one to help me win a quiz show, I asked. I need to be extremely brainy tomorrow. Jupiter's eyes lit up. Sure thing, sister. You need the tiger's eye. He brought a tray of crystals over and placed each one gently on a silk cloth. I held a bluey pink stone up to the light and smiled. It shone like a supernova. That's it, Jupiter said. Your crystals found you. That's fluorite. It'll help your concentration and self-confidence. Jupiter fixed the crystal onto a long chain and put it over my head. She's got some strong energy, hey? Luna smiled. Yeah, she gets that from me. I had the crystal tight in my hand as we left the shop and walked along the promenade, trying to absorb its energy. We were climbing the concrete steps by the beach when I saw them, a man and a woman on their way down, both giving me second glances. But I didn't look away or try to shrink into the shadows. I fixed my eyes on them and smiled my best smile as they walked past. I knew that almost 3,000 people from 50 different schools took the same Brainiacs qualifying test as me that day in the hall. And to get through to the selection day, I had to score in the top 10%. And to be chosen out of all the other competitors at this selection day, I had to beat almost all of them because there are only 15 podiums on the famous Brainiac stage, and one of them already had my name on it. And when you know that, maybe you don't want to be invisible. The end. I'll see you next time if you subscribe. Bye-bye.